right, guys. And Costanza, yeah, it is being recorded. So we appreciate you guys getting on. We are super excited about where we're going, what we're doing right now. And my job is to kind of just help you guys with some things, working with new teammates. Obviously, we've always been strong as a team, as an organization with recruiting. And when you're recruiting, you're always working with new people. So you have to be very, very good at working with new people and being able to work through those new people. And so there's a lot of things that people think about, like what's the hardest thing to do in the business. And so I'm going to kind of just touch on what Bruce told us is usually the hardest thing to do. So when we look at it, controlling the point of contact with your new recruit is the toughest part of the business. So what is controlling the point of contact? So that's where your new teammate, your new recruit, or if you recruited somebody across the kitchen table, that new person has to then reach out to their warm market. So when they start reaching out to their warm market, that's where rubber's gonna hit the road. And that's where most people, to be honest, either quit or they fail at this business. Either we fail as trainees or the new person quits because it gets tough, right? So with that, we have to be very, very good at helping people get through that. So a lot of times we get that phrase, we recruit somebody, they're super, super excited, and then you get this phone call or this text message, like a paragraph long text message saying, hey, I've been thinking, right? They weren't thinking about anything. They weren't thinking about anything at all. Basically, they literally spoke to somebody and then tried to explain something that they couldn't explain. And then they felt a certain type of way and was like, oh, this might not be for me, right? So you have to get really, really good at helping controlling that point of contact and teaching your guys the best things to do when those situations arise. So let's look at a typical scenario when a new person comes in. So new recruit, they come in, they either have an amazing first exposure. So what is that first exposure? It could be an interview. It could be right after an appointment. They join the business as a recruit, or like we're utilizing the webinars, they see the webinar and they're super excited, they're jacked up, and they're like, this is going to change my life, right? So when we look at that, no matter what we tell them or what they see or what they talk about, they are going to talk to somebody else. It's guaranteed. It's inevitable that they're going to talk to somebody else. So who are they going to talk to? They're going to call their best friend, right? Like Josh will call Samir, right? And just say, oh my God, this thing is great. We got to talk about this. Like, you need to come check it out. Or they talk to their family. A lot of times if they're married, they talk to their husband or they talk to their wife. If they're younger, they're talking to their parents right away, if that's a person. Or if they're at work or something and they hop on the webinar and they get off, they talk to somebody at their job. So right away, they're going to talk to somebody. When they talk to somebody, usually that person has a lot more influence on them than we do. So if that person has more influence, their wife, their parents, their coworker who they've worked with for the past 10, 15 years, they're going to take their side a majority of the time over us. They just met us. They don't know us any different than somebody on the street. So with that, they have way more influence with that person than they do with us. So because they're super excited, they're like, yeah, man, I'm going to make so much money. They're going to talk to them. And then that person is going to ask them questions, right? They're going to ask them questions about the business. And then that person is going to be like, oh my God, I don't know, right? And they're going to be stunned. And then it's going to progress. They're going to try to answer. And when they try to answer, usually when they try to answer the question or the concern, it's usually not the best answer, right? So why is it not the best answer? Because they don't know anything yet. They saw a 40-minute webinar. They saw maybe an hour interview. You talk, or maybe at the end of the appointment, they just saw like a brief breakdown of the business, right? You get some people, you build a team, you make money, right? They don't know anything yet. So then they try to explain it. It comes out wrong. They say the wrong words. And then the other person that they're talking to jumps to conclusions, not necessarily because they don't support that person or they don't trust that person, or they just want the best But if the new recruit, the new person can't explain the business correctly, that new person's going to jump to conclusions. And what do we see the most? I don't know what you're talking about. Is that one of those things? One of those things? Because if they're saying, oh yeah, I recruit people and I build this big team and then they recruit people and then they recruit people, people are just going to assume one thing versus the other because that's what they see, right? They're going to say, how is this going to fit into your schedule? You have a full-time job, you have kids. Yeah, I get you're excited, but how is this all going to work out? Now they're thinking about this, right? They're going to say, what do you know about finance? Right? You've been working for the government for many years. What do you know about personal finance? You always come to me and you're like, oh man, what should I do with my money? And now you want to talk to people about finance, right? What did you pay for? Especially when we're working with younger teammates, right? What did you pay for? Sometimes even the spouse may ask, what did you pay for again? Why did you pay $74 or $124? What is that for? The first day they took your credit card? What is that, right? That, and it starts to create all this doubt, right? Oh, it's only commission. Commission? No salary, no benefits? Like, is this sales, right? And then they start creating all of these doubts that the new recruit wasn't really thinking about. They're excited about a new opportunity, a new business, and then they talk to somebody and they start asking all these questions. And in this point, they literally have no idea. So now they stumble. They don't know what to say. And then you get hit with the, I've been thinking, I don't know, this might not be for me, right? Or what we get a lot of times is they get abducted by UFO. You never hear from them again. They go missing, MIA, you're ghosted. If people have iPhone, you send them a message, it says read, but then they don't respond, right? All of these situations, and now all the work that you've put in to prospect, go out, meet the person, get them on the webinar, get them started, get them to make the payment, move forward, is pretty much down the drain, right? So you have to get really good at controlling these situations. So a lot of times when this happens, sometimes people think to yourselves, like you guys as trainers or building teams, you're thinking to yourself, oh man, this only happens to me. I'm so bad at this. Why do I hire these people and then they just quit right away? No, it happens to everybody. It happens to me. It happens to Samir. Bruce doesn't really recruit that much, but it probably happens to him. It happens to Shaq. It doesn't matter who it is. It happens to everybody. So you just have to get really good at figuring out how to control this. And Bruce told us, he said, if you don't control it and you're casual about this situation, you're going to be a casualty in this business. You're going to continue to work. You're going to continue to prospect. You're going to continue to bring people in. And then these things will keep happening. So we were experiencing that for a period of time, and we had to make the adjustment, right? And people may not think that it's that important, but it is, right? And it creates a huge role in double-digit recruiting, right? In getting to 10 recruits in a month, which is takeoff speed. You have to be able to keep people around and not have them just fall off the face of the earth, right? And then if you're focusing on people getting their field training bonus, you want to get into the field fast. You're not going to be able to get into the field fast if you can't control that point of contact, say the right things, and help navigate through their market. So it's huge. So I always talk about this military example, right? So you got to think about this, and you can tell the story to the new recruit, but it's like, hey, let's say someone's in the military and it's war, right? It's war. And we get off of the helicopter and we're in the middle of a jungle. Like a jungle, there's animals, there's things everywhere. And you have Private Johnny, who he just got recruited to the military and now it's war, and he's brand new, Private Johnny. And then you're going through the woods, there's booby traps, there's people hiding all over the place. Who would you rather lead you through that jungle during war? Private Johnny or the sergeant that has been there for years, been through wars before, right? Most of the time, the recruits are going to be like, not Private Johnny, the sergeant. Why not Private Johnny? Because they don't want to die. They don't want to get shot. They don't want any of that to happen. So when it's a funny example, but it's true. If we don't control these things for our new Private Johnny, then they're not going to get on track and they're not going to accomplish things you want them to do and move forward and have success. So that's just an example I use. There's a lot of other analogies, but I like that one. So how do we control the point of contact? So I just ask them sometimes, what would you say? So if you came into the business and now you're going to invite your friend to the webinar, what would you say? Just ask them and see what they say. If they're saying not necessarily the best things, help guide them, help correct them, show them certain things. That we're going to talk about it. We have scripts, right? If it's setting an appointment, same thing. What are you saying? There's things that you should not be saying, which I'm going to go over as well. Then you stump them. So if they say, oh yeah, no, I'm fine, Shondell, don't worry. I don't have to make the calls with you right now. I know exactly what to do. I'll just text them. I'll let them know. I got it. Great. I understand. That's awesome, Josh. I know you can handle it. You're a sharp person, but let's just play it out. Let's play it out. So what are you going to say when you talk to your best friend who is married? They're pretty high up in church, and what are you going to say? Okay, great. Well, I'm going to say I just started working with this financial company, and I think I'm getting a license, and I really just want to meet with you so I can talk to you about your insurance and your investments, and we help people, and it's going to be great because I feel that you need this. Then the person I'm supposed to be like, need what? And you don't know about finance, and what is it exactly that you do again? So you stump them, or they ask you, what's the company, and how does it work? And you just see what would they say, because usually they don't know. They tell you that, oh, I got it. I know exactly what to say. You can't just believe them. They don't. They've only been in a meeting. Maybe they've seen an orientation, and now they're in your fast start meeting, and they think that they can set the appointment. They can't. So you stump them, and then you help them along the way. So what I've been saying recently is, let me help you maximize your success here. I'm going to show you our system. If you listen to the way that we do it, or you let me do it for you, I'm going to maximize your success here, which is helping you get your field training bonus and make money. Because when you think about it, Josh, no one quits if you're making money, right? So I want to help you. When you guys think about your new recruits, the people that Shaq said somebody's at, I don't know if it's Josh on our team, but someone's doing 5 by 5, $1,500. That person is not quitting anytime soon. They're more excited now to get licensed and get out in the field, right? So no one quits when they have success. They only quit when they get hit with that failure or the rejection. So we have to help them. So no one says, I'm successful here, I quit, right? So we teach them the system. And you have to remember this. You have the system that helps your people have success. The new recruit should never tell you what the system is. You should never be in a situation. You have to have posture. And this is something that I've had to grow into over the years of being here. But you have to realize you have the system. Samir, Shaq, they've created a system that is proven, and it gives you results, right? You got to let them know, this is how we do it here. I understand. I know, Mr. Recruit, that you've been in an industry for a long time. You've recruited people. You've trained people before, all of those situations. But hey, this is financial services. This is a little different. This is how we do it here. I want to help you be successful, and what we're doing and the way that we're doing it is proven. There's psychology behind what we're saying and what we're doing, right? And you let them know that you have the goods, not them, right? Your recruiter should never be telling you what to do and how to do it. So you go over the scripts with them. You guys know this could be a whole nother training, so I'm not going to go into all of the exact scripts, but you have we have obviously our system, our packet, and if you guys don't know, make sure you go on Google Drive. All of the scripts when you're working with a new person is there. So typically, if we're going to set a qualified appointment, we're going to go through the triangle offense. If we're actually making calls, we go through the triangle offense. and they're going to introduce themselves, say they're super excited about a business, going through some training, and they just need help. Hey, here's my trainer, talk to her. Great. Now I am controlling the point there. I am answering all of the questions there. I'm the one setting the appointment for them, right? So that's utilizing that, and that's where we're controlling the point of contact. Number two, if they don't prefer to be on the phone, which I think a good point to add is when I'm working with new people, I do ask them of their list after we create the list, do you usually contact this person over the phone, or do you contact this person utilizing text message? Or when was the last time you talked to this person? Would it be weird if you just gave them a random phone call, or would it be better if you just shot them a text, right? So I try to figure out through that person's list which option is probably going to be less random for the person that they're reaching out to. So once we figure that out, then we're either making a phone call or we're sending the three-way text message. The three-way text message is unbelievable because it's going to allow the person to see the message. The message is very professional. It says, I just started working with a new company. I listed you as a character reference, which is very normal, and maybe to help out with training. My trainer here, this is her name, this is her phone number. She will be reaching out to you. So now they have a message. I'm on the message. It's funny because sometimes people respond back to the message and it's like they don't know that it's a group message. So they start saying really funny things like, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to tell them about you? Or it's hilarious, right? But now you can see what's going on right away. But here's another thing, the other side of that. Sometimes the person doesn't respond to the group text and they just respond to the recruit or the trainee separately, right? So you have to know that that's going to happen. Yes, we send the three-way, we want to control it that way, but people are smart. They may not they may not know, you have to know that that's going to happen. So I tell my recruits, hey, people get smart and they might not respond back to this three-way, but they may just respond to you individually. So then you have to let them know what to say. I tell my recruits, hey, if they do that, just literally take a snapshot of it, send it to me so I can tell you what to say. I can tell you how to answer their questions, right? Because you don't want them saying the wrong things. So you go over those scripts in the text messages. It's the same thing when they're inviting, right? Go through the scripts. Do they prefer to be contacted over the phone or over a text? Practice, right? Practice. Hey, Josh, if they texted you and asked, what's the name of the company? What do you say? Right? If they texted and asked, oh, what do you do again for people? Oh, we help people make and save money, right? You arm them with little things that they can respond. Obviously, the person, if they're working with somebody or they're messaging someone or they're talking to someone, you don't want them to be like, I don't know anything. That looks weird. So you have to give them some answers, short answers that they can say that can still answer the question, but then teach them how to defer, which I'm going to talk about in a second. What if somebody starts asking a bunch of questions? So throughout the conversations that you're having, your new recruit has to know to avoid these certain words or phrases when they're talking to people. I'm laughing because when you recruit a lot, you just hear the funniest things that people say when they start setting appointments or inviting people. So when you're looking at qualified appointments, right, you want to avoid them sounding any types of salesy, like, hey, yeah, I want to come over and talk to you about your insurance, your retirement accounts, your debt, all of that. The point of the appointment is for your training. They don't have to buy anything from you, but we know that most people don't know about all of those things. And it's fine. The new recruit is excited. They want to help people. They want to help them with these things because they know what we're doing is right for people. That's okay. But when we're setting that initial appointment, we're not trying to talk to them about, hey, I want to come over and talk to you about your insurance, because with psychology, human beings, they're going to be like, oh, you just want to come sell me something, right? So we have to stick to the script about just helping out. It's for my training. I have to do this to get certified, right? There's no cost, no obligations. Then if you're interested, right? Some people will be trying to set the appointment and they're like, hey, would you help me out? If you're interested in these areas, that'd be great. I tell my recruits, avoid that word, period. Don't ever ask if you're interested or not. Because at this point, we're not worried if they're interested. We just want them, number one, to help out with training, or number two, check out the opportunity. Give me your opinion about it. I'm not asking if you're necessarily interested, because if you say that, it's a yes or no answer, right? And then the conversation's done. So inviting for the opportunity. There's just so many things out there, guys. Right now, different companies, different things going on, different opportunities. Mail this, do that, follow this, get 3 people, get 3 people to get 3 people, all these things. So you don't want your recruit saying, oh yeah, I paid something. And then if you start, you have to pay something, right? And then they say just funny things, right? You just correct them. Hey, it's a license, it's a certification, it's training, right? Recruiting people, commission, all those things. They don't necessarily need to be explaining all of that. When you get on the phone with them, you can explain that. You can explain it the right way so they understand, they know what it is. But I think the best thing is to teach new recruits to defer all questions. So in our developing your market script that is on Google Drive, there's at the bottom of the page, it literally says most important. It's like highlighted and bolded. I go over that all the time. I say, hey, Josh, you are going to be a king at deferring questions. You just got to memorize this statement. And anytime people start asking you a bunch of things, this is all you say. Hey, man. Hey, Chris, I just got started, man, and I'm not licensed to explain much right now. That's why my trainer's going to be giving you a call. Or, hey, Lilix, I just started and I'm not licensed right now to explain much. So you can just give my trainer a call and he can explain everything, or she can explain everything, right? And that doesn't sound bad. If they said they just started last week, they're not licensed to explain everything yet. So then now that can help us kind of take over and answer those questions. So what's the end goal? Set up a time, right, to meet with everybody in their closest circle as soon as possible. Their parents, family members, friends, anybody that you believe that will have influence over them, you want to meet them ASAP, right away. Because just like I said before, they're going to talk to them. And if they talk to them, they might not have the right answers, and then they're gone, right? So set up an appointment right away. If they're married, set up an appointment with their spouse that night if you can. If they're younger and they live with their parents still, set up an appointment with their parents that night right away if you can, right? Get to them immediately. If you're recruiting, if it's their best friends, it's like when you're going through the 4-minute name game and the hot market, who's your best and closest friends, make sure you are talking to them as soon as possible, because you know they're going to hit them up. You know they're going to ask them about it. You know they're going to talk to them about it, right? So you always want to get to those people right away, and then get them moving towards their 10 by 10 goal for the field training bonus, right? Talk to them about making money. What's in it for me, right? Josh talks about that a lot. The WHAM theory, what's in it for me? What about me? So get them to 10 by 10. If you do 10 by 10 in your training, you make $3,000. What can that $3,000 do for you, right? Coach them towards that. But we're not going to get to the 10 by 10 if we can't get through their market, if we can't keep them around before they get out of their business and hit you with the I've been thinking. So Bruce, this is this statistic from Bruce. Bruce said that if you can just improve this one aspect by 25%, your business will improve by 50 to 75%. So this one area may seem minor. This one area will improve your business by 50 to 75%. So that's huge. So if you can get great at this, guys, you can completely change your entire career here. So that's what I have for you guys here today. I think Samir is going to open it up for questions. Do you want me to stop the recording? No.
Yeah.